Hello everyone and welcome back to your boy, the SeanDavieWay Show. Please hit that like and subscribe on the way in and tap that bell if you would like to be notified of all of our future content. Today, I bring you a video on Aaliyah, but this time we'll divulge into her relationship with Robert Sylvester Kelly so we can speak on a song that she made about being handcuffed and referring to R. Kelly. So with this song, Don't Know What to Tell Ya, is it about R. Kelly actually handcuffing Aaliyah? Or is it about Aaliyah speaking of the relationship that she had with R. Kelly and how she felt handcuffed to the situation? So we'll break that down a little bit, but before we do, we'll get into the background of Aaliyah and R. Kelly's situation. It won't be the full story because one, it's repetitive, two, it's long, and three, we want to get to the song Don't Know What to Tell Ya and the whole handcuff piece. Well, I think it's important to divulge a little bit into the backstory because many people still to this day don't believe that there was ever a relationship between R. Kelly and Aaliyah. A lot of people still feel that it was rumored, it wasn't nothing that was proven, but I'm here to tell you that it is a proven thing. This was real, as unfortunate as the situation is, as much as we don't want it to be true on either behalf. We don't want it to be true on Aaliyah's behalf, being a child going through this. And we also don't want it to be true on R. Kelly's behalf, being we are huge fans of him and his music. So I get that this can be a heart-wrenching situation all the way around. But in order to understand the grasp of the situation and why this song may have been about Robert Kelly, I think that it is important that we divulge. Instead of jumping all the way from the beginning from 1992 all the way into 2025, we'll just start from R. Kelly's trial because I think that a lot of information was proven. There were things that were rumored, there were things that were speculated, but this trial brought out what was real and what was false. You have witness statements from his old tour managers like Demetrius and on and so forth. You have a U.S. attorney standing in the middle of a courtroom speaking on Aaliyah with receipts about their relationship, their secret marriage, and on and so forth. So we'll just start from there because I think that they did a really good job in summing everything up. So that's where we'll pivot from the New Yorker 100. In Lower Manhattan, across the East River from the federal courthouse where the R&B star R. Kelly is being tried for racketeering and SCX trafficking, there is a 3-story billboard of his most famous protege and victim, the late singer Aaliyah, who is portrayed when her eyes is closed and her hands on her hips. Underneath the message, Aaliyah is coming. The billboard is meant to promote the recent release of Aaliyah's music on streaming platforms. A second, even bigger platform stands in Times Square. For years, the only album by Aaliyah available to stream was the debut, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, which Kelly wrote and produced for her in 1994. When that album came out, Aaliyah was 15 and a sophomore at what was then called the Detroit High School for the Fine Arts and Performing Arts. Prosecutors claim that Kelly was having sexual contact with Aaliyah and may have impregnated her while she was a minor. He then illegally married her, although some of the specifics are only coming out now in the courtroom. Kelly and Aaliyah's relationship was an open secret, and their marriage made headlines at the time. From the vantage point of 2021, it is hard to imagine how a SCX abuse scandal involving 2 of the biggest names in popular music would not derail the alleged abuser's career. But Kelly thrived as an artist and produced in the years that followed. He would go on to sell a total of more than 100 million records, including his own and those he crafted for other artists. Sure, this was the pre-Me Too movement in the 1990s, but other artists have been published for similar behavior in the past. In 1958, after the rock and roll pioneer Jerry Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old second cousin, Myra Gale Brown, his career took a nosedive right into the concrete. Brown recalled in 2014, R. Kelly apparently aware of that earlier scandal, but unfazed by it. His quote, "Look at Jerry Lee Lewis," he once said, according to testimony from the witness stand in Brooklyn. He's a genius and I'm a genius. We should be allowed to do what we want. Look at what we give the world. Almost immediately after their marriage, Kelly and Aaliyah split, and her career thrived as well. She sold more than 2 million copies of each of her next 2 albums, which she made with other producers, and launched a film career. But Kelly wasn't held accountable for his actions in Aaliyah's lifetime. In August 2001, she passed away in a plane crash in the Bahamas at the age of 22. Only now, Kelly is being prosecuted for the crimes he allegedly committed against her, as well as 19 other women and 2 men. In the case brought by the Eastern District of New York, the first time that Aaliyah's name was spoken in court as a victim of SEX abuse was 2 weeks ago, a few days before the 20th anniversary of her passing, which coincided with the release of her music. First, I want to tell you about Aaliyah, Maria Cruz Melendez, an assistant U.S. attorney, said in her opening argument. Aaliyah met the defendant in approximately 1992, when she was about 12 years old. Aaliyah had a gift. She was a talented singer, and people thought she could make it far in the industry. So the defendant began to produce and write music for Aaliyah when she was still a child. And shortly after he began working with her, the defendant began to engage in SEX activity with her. And for years, while Aaliyah was a minor, too young to consent to SEX, he continued to engage in sexual activity with her that lasted several years. Cruz Melendez continued to tell the story of how one night in 1994, while the defendant was on tour, he got a call from Aaliyah saying she thought she was pregnant. Kelly, who was 27 and living in Chicago, where the age of consent was 17, was worried about being charged with statutory RAPE, and he immediately flew home. The court soon heard that Kelly, with the help of Daryl McDavid, his friend and accountant at the time, devised a plan to marry Aaliyah. The idea was to keep Aaliyah from talking and to keep him out of jail if anyone found out about his sexual contact with her, Cruz Melendez said. Demetrius Smith, Kelly's longtime friend and role manager, testified that McDavid gave him $500 in cash to bribe a Chicago area official in order to secure a fake welfare card for Aaliyah. Smith also obtained a work ID, allegedly from FedEx, from a friend of Kelly's. After getting their marriage license from a clerk in Cook County, Kelly and Aaliyah were married on August 31st, 1994, by a Baptist minister in a room at the Sheraton near Chicago O'Hare Airport. Kelly then got on a plane, flew to the next show on the tour. Aaliyah was supposed to wait for him in Chicago, but instead, she soon went home to her parents in Detroit and told them what happened. Side note, so that is true. Aaliyah did tell her family what happened to her. That is why the marriage was annulled pretty much immediately, and all ties were severed with Aaliyah and R. Kelly right away. I think the biggest thing that let me know that this was true was because neither one of them never spoke on each other. Why would Aaliyah not want to talk about somebody as big as R. Kelly helping her with her career and establish her as an artist? And why wouldn't R. Kelly want to talk about one of his biggest proteges? Literally, Aaliyah was one of the biggest artists he ever worked with. So why would they not want to speak of that? Isn't that weird? So that's why in the 90s, I did believe when people were telling me that R. Kelly and Aaliyah were married, because I was always thinking like, well, they don't talk about each other. They never say a word. And if nothing inappropriate happened, then they wouldn't have any reason to not speak on one another when they're so important in each other's career. But still, I digress. Let's keep going. Rumors about the marriage began spreading in the music world almost immediately, becoming a frequent subject of gossip on Black radio stations. In 1994, Vibe magazine obtained a copy of the couple's marriage certificate, which listed R. Kelly's real age and Aaliyah's fraudulent one. Vibe published it that December with the caption, "Signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours." But the author Danielle Smith wrote that she didn't get a chance to ask Kelly what a grown ASS man is doing with a teenage girlfriend. Meanwhile, Kelly and Aaliyah denied that the marriage had ever happened. When people ask me, I tell them, hey, I don't believe that mess, Aaliyah told me a few days after the issue of Vibe came out. We're close, and people took it the wrong way. Side note, I don't get what people don't get about an NDA. Aaliyah, her mother, her father, Barry Hankerson, and Rashad, her brother, all signed NDAs. So they were not allowed to speak on it. So when Aaliyah would say things like that, I think it was a nice way of her trying not to be rude to the person that was either doing an interview or asking her questions at that time, so that she can move to the next topic, because it's not something she could speak on. There's witnesses that saw this happen. Not only are there witnesses, there's a marriage certificate, on and so forth. They stopped working together immediately. They never worked together again after the date of the marriage certificate. So yeah, we know it's true. It's just she was not allowed to speak of it. And let's get into that. In 2000, my colleague Abdon and I reported to the Chicago Sun-Times that shortly after the marriage, Kelly and Aaliyah had gotten an annulment and had signed a settlement agreement stipulating that they would sever all personal and professional contact and avoid making any public comments about each other. Kelly admitted no liability or wrongdoing, but he paid Aaliyah $100, and Aaliyah and her parents discharged him from any future legal claims pertaining to emotional distress and physical injury or emotional pain and suffering from any assault or battery that he might have perpetrated against her. The settlement also named 2 monitors to assure that Kelly and Aaliyah complied with its terms. An attorney for Kelly and Barry Hankerson for Aaliyah. Hankerson's Aaliyah uncle he also ran his company, Black Brown Records. He also served as Kelly's manager for more than a decade throughout the 90s, both before and after the marriage. When Hankerson met Kelly, he was a well-known figure in the entertainment business. He managed the Winans, a popular gospel quartet, and had produced and appeared in a film with Gladys Knight, his ex-wife. Under Hankerson's management, Kelly had some of the biggest hits, including Bump and Grind, I Believe I Can Fly, and I'm Your Angel. After Kelly married Hankerson's niece, Aaliyah, Hankerson began to distance himself from the star client. But he only formally resigned as Kelly's manager in the early 2000s via a letter to Kelly's attorney, Gerald, and executives at Kelly's label, Jive Records. Hankerson has never commented on the record about that split, but when I asked him about it in 2002, he authorized his attorney to confirm the substance of his resignation note. In the letter, he recommended that Kelly seek psychiatric help for compulsion to pursue underage girls. I note. So again, Aaliyah was lied to by Barry Hankerson, like I said in my video before. When she parted ways from R. Kelly, Hankerson told Aaliyah that he would be parting ways from R. Kelly as well. So Aaliyah thought that this was a group and family effort. When Aaliyah was going through what she was going through, you have to remember, it wasn't her just worried about her career being destroyed or destroying R. Kelly's career and whatnot. Her uncle, she was very loyal to him. And he was not only managing her, but he was managing R. Kelly too. So this was a lot of pressure. Like, will I be believed if I do say anything and whatnot? Because I do feel like R. Kelly is very sneaky and was pulling the wool over people's eyes. I do not believe Aaliyah's family knew right away that something was happening between her and R. Kelly. I think R. Kelly was sneaking her off and things like that when she's supposed to be recording in the studio and whatnot. I do feel like it slipped between, you know, the family's fingers. And also Aaliyah was a lot more mature for her age. So I'm sure she was trying to do things on her own, and her family probably thought it was okay, especially if Barry was going to be there looking out for his niece. Not a coincidence that Barry puts his resignation in 2002. When Aaliyah passed away in 2001, he betrayed her. He lied to Aaliyah and told her that he was no longer working with R. Kelly, and that was in the 90s. So years have been going by, and he was still working with R. Kelly behind the scenes, still managing him, still sending in producers, still writing checks. He was still doing all of those things, although he told Aaliyah that he would not, that we are all severing ties with him as a loyalty and protection of Aaliyah. I believe Aaliyah found that out, and when Aaliyah found out in 2001, the same year she passed, I believe in the Bahamas when Aaliyah was shooting the film, or the video, sorry, not film, video, Rock the Boat, that is when she found out. She found out around that time that Barry was still working with R. Kelly. So I think that she had a hard decision to make when she got back. So firing Barry was one of the things that I think was on Aaliyah's to-do list. That's why I've stated before that Barry may have had more to do with Aaliyah's passing than we think, because he was to gain the most with her passing away. And it was the same year she was about to come and basically fire him, for lying to her and being loyal to the person that did all of these heinous things to her. So, but let's keep going. That's just a theory of mine. Hankerson rarely speaks about what happened between Kelly and Aaliyah, and he has never spoke about it in detail. But last week, he briefly addressed the situation during a radio interview with comedian Ricky Smiley. His quote, "Of course I was upset," Hankerson recalled. "And of course I have to really, really consider what my reactions would be. I really found out I wasn't a hardcore criminal. I couldn't kill nobody, I'm a Muslim. I went to Minister Farrakhan and we just prayed about it and resolved it ourselves to let God handle him. And I think that's what's going on." Demetri Smith also testified, whom was R. Kelly's bodyguard, lifelong friend, kind of tour manager at one point. He testified as well that Aaliyah and R. Kelly were married, but the reason that they got married was because Aaliyah contacted R. Kelly after one of his shows and told him that she thinks she was pregnant. R. Kelly panics and marries Aaliyah so that, because in most states, spouses cannot testify against each other. So he felt that it'd be smart, if I marry her, then she can't testify against me and or try to file criminal charges on me due to what has happened, because she is legally my wife, which would have worked in, again, certain states if Aaliyah was of age. She was not. So the marriage was truly never real. Aaliyah was never pregnant. It was a false alarm. Women have it all the time. So people going around saying that Aaliyah got rid of the baby or R. Kelly took Aaliyah to get rid of the baby, that is not true. He married her so that she could have the baby if she was pregnant. So that doesn't make any sense. Why marry her when you can just have her go abort the mission? That's not what happened. He panicked. He took it as her saying that I maybe is that I definitely am. So that's when all of these weird tactics start coming in. Even Demetrius and R. Kelly's accountant advised against it at first, but of course they did whatever R. Kelly told them to. That a lot of celebrities have people kind of wrapped around their finger to they're afraid to disagree or not say yes out of fear of being kicked out of the inner circle or the group and whatnot. So they just complied and did what R. Kelly wanted them to do, which was a stupid idea. That was a very dumb plan. Now that we have some history, R. Kelly, of course, with all of the women that came forward, stated how controlling R. Kelly was, how he really didn't allow them to do much, how they had to wear baggier clothes, how they had to approach and address him in a certain way, how he was always criticizing them and accusing them of cheating and asking them a bunch of unnecessary questions when he knows that those things aren't true, when they haven't been anywhere. He doesn't necessarily allow them, to do much if he's not involved or having somebody trail them or tail them around or chauffeur, them around. So Aaliyah, looking back, was the same treatment. Aaliyah wore baggier clothes. Aaliyah and R. Kelly in interviews, a lot of times she will push off of his energy. She would look to him before she would speak, or look to him before she would answer a question, or look to him to see if she's supposed to pass a question. You can see the control dynamic was pretty much the same things that the women were explaining in modern day before R. Kelly's incarceration. Knowing that Aaliyah met R. Kelly at 12 years old, think about the Age Ain't Nothing But a Number album. Aaliyah was very, very tomboyish. She kind of just kicked back. She didn't do too much dancing, anything like that. More so of just music. All of it was the beat and the vocals that were on the track. And you had R. Kelly feature in a decent amount of the tracks that she had on her first album. And going back to her look, We thought it was cute. We thought that her and R. Kelly were kind of trying to dress alike and, stuff like that. As again, he is the mentor and she is the mentee. He is the placed and established artist and she is the protege that's coming in to do the same thing. So a lot of people didn't look right at it and think anything nefarious was going on. Cut to Aaliyah's sophomore album, One in a Million, when R. Kelly is completely gone and she's showing skin, she's dancing, she's all over the video. She has male interest in the video now, like the Genuines and people like that. Before with AJ Nothing But a Number, it was not like that at all. Aaliyah showed no skin, which was fine because she was, 13, 14 years old, at the time, 15 when the album actually came out, but making the videos and whatnot, she was, between the ages of 13 and 14 while that was happening. So it wasn't necessary that she showed any skin. But her sophomore album, her being, 16, 17 years old, then it's like this sex icon was born, this sex goddess, was born. And we all wonder, like, what was with the transition? Because Aaliyah's style kind of stayed the same after that. She didn't revert back to the age ain't nothing but a number, because I do not feel that that was Aaliyah's image. That is an image that R. Kelly forced upon her because that was his woman. So he didn't want her showing skin and letting people know that she could dance and move her hips. And, she's always been into belly rolling and things like that. But if she would have stuck with R. Kelly, we would have never saw, that side of Aaliyah, which was a beautiful thing to see her grow as an artist. I'm glad she got away from Robert because she wouldn't have been the delicate flower that we knew her to be. Brings us to the song, Don't Know What to Tell You. Aaliyah was extremely private. She only let us in a little bit. We got a glimpse of her life, even when she would have the cameras in front of her when she did Diary back in the day on MTV and whatnot. We only got certain selected information, which I liked about Aaliyah. She was a mystery. And that's what's missing in today's world with celebrities, the mystery. Everybody's just so quick to show everything on social media, all of that, to where we don't get to wonder as fans anymore. We know instead of wondering like, well, I wonder what this person's favorite color is or their favorite food, or if they like this or if they like that, or how they be doing this or how they be doing that. It's like you get to see it all. So it takes away the mystery from the artistry. I do believe that Aaliyah would speak through her music. The song Don't Know What to Tell You, I feel, is about R. Kelly. Don't get me wrong. This is just my opinion. But I do feel that it goes hand in hand with her relationship with him. So let's get into the song Don't Know What to Tell You and how Aaliyah either may have been handcuffed by R. Kelly or feeling handcuffed to the situation. So the chorus starts, you want to handcuff me, but yo, I don't know what to tell you. You want my intimacy, but yo, I don't know what to tell you. You want a wall around me. I swear I don't know what to tell you. You want my lock and key, but yo, I don't know what to tell you. To me, that is stating a relationship that is overbearing. It's just a lot to deal with when a person wants to basically put you in their pocket and have you all day long. No one else have you, no one else allowed to see you. They want all of your attention. And when they don't have it, it becomes a problem. So I feel that that's what Aaliyah is saying here. Like, you want to handcuff me, you want my intimacy, you want a wall around me, but I don't know what to tell you. You want my lock and key, like you want my heart, you want my soul, you want everything that comes with me, and I can't give you that. Verse 1, incarceration when I'm facing when I'm with you. You're watching my every move, trying to pick up on some clues. Or we play 20 questions every time I walk in or out the door. What do you bother for? Get comfortable, it's yours. Side note, again, an overbearing, insecure individual is what it sounds like she's dealing with. Like she said, incarceration is when I'm facing when I'm with you, meaning she is underage. I'm not allowed to be with you. You're not allowed to be with me. We could get in a lot of trouble for what's going on. She states you're watching my every move, trying to pick up some clues. So again, everything that Aaliyah was doing, he was right there, arm in arm, hand in hand, eyes over her every action. She also says, every time I walk in or out the door, the whole 20 questions part, he does that to the other women as well. They stated that. They said that when they would leave and go back home to like their families and check on their children and stuff like that, when they got back, he had all of these questions and would make them feel badly and insecure, like they were sleeping with a bunch of people, you know, and whatnot, but they're just like, yeah, no, I'm yours, like I belong to you. So it seems as if Aaliyah was having the same issues with him and his insecurities, is that he couldn't be comfortable in a situation knowing that he was chose. And I think that Aaliyah drawing on these emotions or drawing from this song, from what is being said, is things that she felt while she was dating R. Kelly. Verse continues. It's gonna take some trust to keep my love. Cracking, stressing, and second guessing. Many time and time again, we go from lovers back to friends. Gotta put this to an end. Side note, that's them. To the public, they're friends. To the public, they were besties. To the public, you're confusing our relationship. We're just really good friends. We vibe well. He knows me. I know him. Musically, we are in tune. That is the image that they were given. But behind closed doors, it was a whole nother situation. So it was a lot of back and forth. You know, 1 minute, yeah, let's be together. And then the next minute, like, yeah, no, people are going to find out. Or people are starting to ask me certain questions and whatnot. So for right now, let's just fall back. And then let's get back together. So that I could see all of those things going on and how this could be a very confusing, manipulative situation for a teenager. Verse 2. No justification for your actions. Should have been somewhere relaxing. Don't compare me to your last one. I can't help it. She was a fast one. A sassy one. I'm a classy one. I can't keep them from getting at me, hun. Seems like that should make you happy, hun. Side note. So again, she says no justification for your actions. I do believe that she's talking about the things that he did to her and the situation that he placed her in as a 27-year-old marrying a 15-year-old girl. So yeah, I do believe that part of that is her stating, yeah, you can't justify what you did. Like, I should have been somewhere enjoying myself. I should have been somewhere relaxing being a teenager, but instead I was with you. Don't compare me to your last one. I can't help it if she was the fast one. I don't think she's talking about Andrea Kelly. I do think that she's talking about the revolving women that were around R. Kelly, because even when Aaliyah was with him, she was not the only person that he was seeing nor sleeping with. So I do think that she's referring to somebody else. I don't think that she's referring to Andrea Kelly. And she says, I can't keep them from getting at me, hun. Seems like that should make you happy, hun. So Aaliyah stating, hey, I can't help it that these dudes be trying to holler at me. I can't help it that they be trying to get with me, but it should make you happy. And I think she's stating that because I'm attractive. If other men are finding me attractive, other dudes want the girl that you're with, and that should let you know that you're doing something right. Like, you know, you got a baddie, like your girl is beautiful. Like, that should make you happy knowing that I'm turning them down and that I'm choosing you. You know, so these insecurities that you have, you can let them go because I want to be with you. Verse continues. It's going to take some trust to keep my love. It's going to take some trust to keep my love. Kraken, I can't deny it when I try to put up with you, these insecurities every day, pushing my love away. Again, the other women that stated these allegations about R. Kelly stated he was very insecure, that he would do things all the time and say things all the time that will push them away by forcing them to be seeing other people, whether it's men or other women. He was really good at doing that and making a person feel down, making them feel insecure as well when they're secure within the situation. But with him being so insecure and his mind being all over the place, it was harder for Aaliyah to gain and keep his trust because she didn't feel as if she was doing anything to not have his trust. Like she said, it's going to take some trust to keep my love, meaning you have to trust me in order for us to keep this situation going. In order for us to be in a relationship, you have to trust me. Well, all of that being said, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that Aaliyah was stating that R. Kelly literally had her handcuffed, or that Aaliyah was handcuffed to a situation? I also want to state before I end and conclude this part of the series is that I think that Aaliyah still had strong feelings for R. Kelly. They did not break up. They were separated. So with them being separated by her family, her parents, and R. Kelly's management and the record label because Aaliyah was underage, it doesn't mean that the feelings ever stopped. It doesn't mean that although Aaliyah may have figured out or noticed what R. Kelly did to her, that she still did not love him. I don't think Aaliyah went to her grave hating him. I do think that Aaliyah had a distaste for him and knew that she was better off staying as far away from him as possible for what he did to her. And I think that she would not have wanted that to happen to any other young lady. But at the same time, feelings are feelings, and proper closure is needed in order to move on. So I don't think Aaliyah or R. Kelly ever truly moved on from the situation because they didn't break up. They didn't part. They were separated. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I love you all. And until the next video, bye.